Hello there, Taurus. We are here again with another reading for you. Today I am still using the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck, if you are curious. It's a great deck, highly recommend it. Already shuffled the cards, already got them laid out, and I've actually already got a few cards turned over because I have started your reading a few times already. I've had the bright idea of trying to do some readings just a few days before Mercury stations direct. So the energy of communicating is very slowed down and laborious for me right now. But we're going to get through it, and we're going to start right off the bat with your significator card, which today is the Six of Wands, Victory. That's also the second decan of Leo, for those of you who like to pay attention to that. But it is very much this sense of feeling, I keep wanting to say flow state today, but being in touch with your inner flow state, like you're able to express your natural Taurus energies without much impediment. Like it just feels easy, it's flowing, it makes sense. The sun is already a few degrees into Virgo as I'm recording this, which is a fellow earth sign, so it's a nice supportive trine for you. So the collective energy around you and the environment around you is already sort of more conducive for you to be in this flow state, in this state of, I wanted to say comfort, but I don't think that's quite the word I'm getting through. Crossing you, or rather covering you, we have the Ten of Swords, Ruin. This is the last decan of Gemini. And given the fact that Mars is currently there in that last decan of Gemini, this card kind of makes sense. That's activating your second house. Second sign from Taurus is Gemini. I'm hearing eclectic. I don't think that was quite what was coming through, but there's like this frantic energy about that second house for you right now. Like it's very focused on, especially with Jupiter being there, but Mars being there is just kind of making everything a little bit like panicky and anxious, like especially with regards to like finances or like your personal values, your personal sense of stability. And there's like a broken sword in the card, and it's making me feel like, for whatever reason, like I'm seeing somebody's hand on their throat, which, I mean, it makes sense. It's the second house. It's kind of the part of the body that the second house signifies, but like somebody's wringing the neck, and it like at the last moment the neck turns into like a tree branch, and they're just snapping it. Like maybe something was said that shattered a contract or a relationship or a situation, or maybe you're trying to say something and it's being like halted before it can even be said, which was kind of something that I was getting personally just trying to do your reading earlier. Like, well, actually one of the things that came out of my mouth was like, it's just gone. Like I think I said something along the lines of, I can see it, I'm getting the impressions, but I don't have access to the words. Like I can't say it. Like that was the struggle with trying to get your reading together already. I'm hearing the song Radioactive by, I think, Imagine Dragons. so tired of that song, but it's coming to mind as I'm looking deeper into that Ten of Swords card. But crossing you, we have the Four of Discs, power. Isn't it a little interesting that this looks like a computer chip? I don't know, maybe relevant, maybe not. But that 4 is the last decan of Cardinal Earth, so Capricorn. So definitely like that foundation energy. Like when I saw this card in the last attempt at your reading, I was seeing a disc balancing on a ball and you standing on the disc trying to find the point of equilibrium, where you're no longer struggling to maintain your upright position. And I apologize about the aircraft going by. It's pretty loud. Okay, it's gone. So definitely an emphasis on trying to find your stable place, I think, is what's coming through. It's like you've had access to a lot of resources and helpful people, maybe. But it's like, are you utilizing those resources? Are you reaching out to those people? Or are you struggling to maintain this by yourself? And I feel like that's part of the issue here. Not communicating, not asking for help, not saying, hey, I'm struggling here and I need you to help me get back into this flow state, to help me get back into feeling like Taurus again, to feeling stable and secure and comforted and nourished. Beneath you, at the root of the reading, we have the 10th trump card, Fortune, the Wheel of Fortune. Which is like definitely like this idea of fate, yes. Maybe calling back to Jupiter in that second house. Like the support, the resources, and everything is there. The access may be impeded somehow, maybe because of you not communicating that you need something. Or it could be that something is going to come through, some person or some opportunity, if it hasn't already come to you, is presenting itself or themselves in order to help you correct. But correct isn't the right word. It's not like you're doing something wrong necessarily. I don't know why I'm seeing like you looking out a stained glass window with a candle in your hand. And it's like it's all fine, but I feel like your focus would do better to be turned inside the space that you're in rather than looking out this window. Like, it's nighttime out there. It's not time for you to be doing your daily activities out there. You need to turn your focus back on the inside. And I'm hearing like go sit by the fire and have the conversation. Like I feel like you got up mid-conversation, like you're sitting on the couch with somebody talking about something really important, and midway through you stand up and you walk over to the window and you just look out the window instead of finishing finishing what you started. I'm almost wondering with that Ten of Swords, like maybe there was a breakup and maybe like you just haven't accepted it or something along those lines. That could be one of the manifestations of this. Behind you we have the Ace of Wands. It's pretty good dynamic energy to have. You know, that's the cardinal point of Aries. It's like that's the wellspring where life bursts forth from. I'm hearing that's the hearth fire. That's the fire that was lit in the fireplace before you got up off the couch and walked away. Like all the potential and dynamism was right there in that conversation, in the midst of that exchange, and you pulled yourself away from it. Why? Because it was spiky? Because it was electric? Taurus doesn't like spiky or electric. You like the smooth, soft, comfortable, cozy. Crowning you, we have the Queen of Wands. Beautiful card, isn't it? That's like, again, this emphasis on Leo. So right now, bringing that emphasis back to Leo, bringing the emphasis back to Mercury, who's stationing direct at about 21 degrees of Leo. So maybe the metaphor of the Mercury retrograde cycle is kind of representative of this conversation that you were having, and then as Mercury turned retrograde, you got up, walked over to the window, and I don't necessarily, like, even when I was seeing the image earlier, it wasn't like you were really looking out the window. You were just at the window looking out of it, if that makes sense. Like, you weren't necessarily seeing or paying attention to anything that was outside of the window. It was just like a space for you to be withdrawn from the work that you were doing. And kind of leaning into that space of silence and reflection. But I think it's interesting that the window appears as stained glass. Like it's like you wanted to look through a filter rather than seeing it as it actually was. You know, a filter that made it look like it wasn't so spiky and electric. But it's like, that's just the fact of the matter. Like, it's gonna be spicy and spiky and electric. Like, it's just, you're gonna have to face that. And it's gonna cause change, which, you know, we know Taurus would much rather things just stay as they are and improve without needing to be changed. But how does that work? How does that happen? How do things improve without changing? I almost get the sense that this Queen of Wands right here is representing the person that you need to have the conversation with. Like, they're a little intimidating, a little like noble, powerful, raw, primal, and it's a little scary, a little passionate and fiery for your taste. Like this, I'm hearing courtship. Like, there needs to be a courting with this energy, a sort of dance. in order to step into the rhythm. Maybe we'll come back to her, but before you we have the Four of Swords, which in this deck is Truce. And that is the last decan of Libra. This could be representative of the actual time when the sun is in that last decan of Libra. I believe that's like early November. No, I'm sorry, early October. Especially considering it's in the future position. Could be that that's like the point in time when the conversation or the exchange that's taking place, it's when everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows their place. Everybody knows their role, understands it. The exchange of ideas is happening. There may be different opinions, but you're understanding that each person in this situation is bringing their own unique perspective and approach to the situation. And this Four of Swords is like that point in time where you are able to come together, to bring those different approaches, to bring those different energies together and consolidate them into something that maintains or supports. You know, it is that four energy, the energy of four, but the four pillars, the foundation, it's the supportive, it holds you up, it protects you, you know. Yeah, and with the 4-2, I'm looking at these swords and I'm thinking about the cross quarters. Right at the end of the last decan of Libra, that first degree, 0 degree of Scorpio, you're starting to enter into the period of time that's leading up to Halloween. You know, that's middle of Scorpio, but it's still like that cross quarter energy. Like that could be a period of time where you've reached an understanding. I don't know, I'm losing the thread with this one if I keep staring at that. Current energy around you, we have the Princess of Wands in reverse. With this angle of the card, the emphasis is very much on the cat, who just kind of seems lazy, inactive, you know, whereas she is the active principle, kind of charging forth with that fiery energy. The cat's kind of holding back and resting. You know, it's that mutable paradox, the mutable fire. I feel like there's a part of you that's ready to turn away from the window and walk back and sit down at the couch in front of the fire and resume the conversation that you walked away from. There's also part of you that just wants to keep staying there and fall asleep standing is what I'm hearing. Like, just shut it out. Like, if you don't do anything, like it doesn't exist if I don't look at it, you know, that sort of thing. But with this Ace of Wands, what I want to draw your attention to is the fact that if you don't act, the universe will do it for you. If you don't make the decision, the universe will make the decision for you. You know, everything will continue moving with or without you. So by shutting yourself off, by withdrawing and pulling away from the situation, you've made a decision. You know, your silence is an answer. So consider that before you bring a situation into being that you don't want to be in. That could be part of the problem too, like maybe from your perspective, any choice you make is going to lead you somewhere that you don't want to be. But with this 4 of Swords right here next to the 10 of Swords, it's like taking those other ideas, taking those other considerations into mind. Like maybe there are other people who have presented you with new ideas or advice. So maybe the emphasis is taking those things into consideration and allowing those to help you move forward with this. I keep coming back to conversation. I don't think it necessarily has to be a conversation. Take that metaphorically, if you will. But yeah, something needs to be said. Like, there's this emphasis right here. Like, I almost feel like there's a lump in my throat, like it needs to be released. For the people around you, we have the 10 of Wands in reverse. Again, back to that mutable fire with Sagittarius. That's that last decan of Sagittarius, which is something that Mars is aspecting from his current position in Gemini, you know, just through opposition. Kind of look at what part of the chart that activates for you. But for Taurus, I have to see the chart in my head. Taurus, that's your 8th house, I believe. So maybe that's part of what this conversation about is like shared resources. Maybe you're getting divorced, or you're breaking up, or you're leaving a job and you're having to talk about what belongs to who, or what you're going to do with your retirement plan. But like there's this definite emphasis on having reached a critical turning point. Like the 10, the culmination energy. And whatever decision you make now is going to affect your foundation, your stable place. For your hopes and fears, we have the 7 of Discs, failure. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. This is like being unsure of your decision, doubting yourself and doubting that if you make this decision, that what comes of it is going to be something good for you or something that you wanted. Interesting to me is as I'm looking at this 7 of Discs, my eyes were drawn over here to your 6 of Wands, your significator card, the victory card, and the Ace of Wands right next to it. You have the 1 and the 6 together making the 7. So it's like turning away from this window, facing this spiky electric energy, sitting down with it, embodying it, understanding it, communicating it, is what's going to help you bypass this so-called failure, you know. 7 is the last decan of fixed earth, so it's the last decan of Taurus. And that's the weird. It's like that's this whole reading has just been so bizarre. That's the point when the hands around the throat are released. And you can move on from that. That's when the words come out. That's when the truth is spoken. That's when the perspectives are shared. When the mistake is acknowledged, or when the praise is given, however this is manifesting. For the final outcome, we have the Six of Cups in reverse. It's pleasure. Excuse me. Middle decan of fixed water, so that's Scorpio. That's your 7th house. That's the person sitting on the couch waiting for you to sit down and have the rest of this conversation with. Okay. Maybe it's just the fact that the card is called pleasure, but I was looking at it and getting this very almost erotic, intimate energy. Like maybe you've been holding yourself back from playing with this Queen of Wands because the energy is just so passionate and raw and powerful and scary. Maybe it's also erotic, like there's a romance at play here that you've been blocking yourself off from, shielding yourself off from. That 6 of Wands right there is like immediately became a shield in my mind as I said that. You've built the castle around yourself with this 4 of discs right here, and you're holding on to your precious sexuality and keeping it hidden. And maybe that's part of the problem, like the energy that you're holding back is starting to frustrate you and build up and kind of become more erratic and violent and spiky. And by giving into that pleasure, by giving into that experience of sharing and being present rather than having stepped up to go stare out an empty window, like by allowing yourself this experience, you're able to finally get the energy moving again. You're able to flow again. There's like little traces of things that also want to come through. I think I've already gotten the general gist of what this reading is about. And I've already hopefully expressed it. Hopefully the hands around my throat were loosened enough for the words to come out in a way that's constructive for you. I think that's all we've got. So we'll leave it at that, Taurus. Take care, okay?